The most horrifying Halloween deaths ever.
The Hershey's incident. On a Halloween...
The Hershey's incident. Halloween deaths. Somebody died from a Hershey's chocolate bar? Had to be, like, fucking spiked with drugs. I feel like that's a common myth, though, like the razor blade thing. We talk about that every Halloween. It was, like, really... It's happened. Like, there are people that find razor blades in their candy, and there are people that... I feel like getting drugs in your candy is more common. Like, some weirdo putting, like, fucking fentanyl in your Smarties is more likely than somebody trying to fit a razor blade in a Snickers bar. I also just don't understand that. Like, the razor blade in your candy bar thing, I know it's like, okay, like, children aren't going to know, but, like, how do you reasonably fit a razor blade in a candy bar without it looking so obvious that you put a fucking razor blade in a candy bar? Like, even if you reseal a Snickers bar, you open that shit up, you're going to be like, dude, this looks mushed with, like, a hard piece of metal in it. Like, and you'd bite down, you would feel it, and then just, like, spit.
Home on Winchester Avenue in Chicago quickly...
Oh, not a full razor blade? You're saying they're putting, like, metal fragments. Needles. Ugh.
...became the scene of
oh, my God.
a nightmare. After trick-or-treating, a grown 55-year-old man fell into a fury with his partner after discovering that his bag of Hershey's candy was missing. He was convinced that the 49-year-old woman had taken it, and what started as a petty...
Wait, he went trick-or-treating at 50 years old, or he just had a bag of Halloween Hershey's?
The accusation quickly escalated into a heated argument. The shouting grew louder, and tempers boiled over. In desperation...
Over a bag of Hershey's bars? Like a mid-ass chocolate?
And perhaps in an effort to also protect herself, the 49-year-old woman hurled a plate at the man's head, striking him in the face and cutting above his eye. The injury, later visible in the mugshot taken of him, only stoked his anger further. With dripping down his face, the man reached for a kitchen knife, and consumed by rage, he lashed out in a frenzy, striking the woman multiple times. Neighbors later recalled hearing chaos and screams echoing from inside the home. Unsure as to whether or not the noises were Halloween decorations, police were eventually dispatched to the area. When officers arrived, they found the woman gravely injured. She was rushed to Cook County Hospital, where she lingered in critical condition.
He fucking killed her because he thought she took his Hershey's bars.
For nearly a week. Despite doctors' efforts, her injuries proved fatal, and she later passed on November 5th. The man was arrested soon after and booked on felony charges. What had begun as a trivial Halloween quarrel between two adults ended in one of...
Woman killed over Halloween candy. A man became so enraged over a missing bag of Halloween candy that he plunged a knife into a woman multiple times, according to police. He was arrested Halloween night and charges expected to be upgraded after she died Saturday night. Stabbed multiple times, according to Cook County Medical Examiner. Died at Stroger Hospital. What the fuck, man?
The most brutal of
2011
of ways. Costume malfunction.
And also, like, I mean, that, you know, you're just assuming this person's insane because killing anybody over anything that trivial is, you know, obviously stupid. But, dude, a bag of Halloween candy. How much is a bag of Halloween candy? Like $5? Seriously. Like, I'll go to Walmart. You buy, like, those mixed bags of candy. I think it literally says it's like $8, $8, $10. Probably already opened.
On October 31st, at a...
What was this incident? The malfunction?
On October 31st, at a thriving Halloween carnival, a 51-year-old man would step into the bustling streets dressed in a costume of burlap and straw, eager to join...
I don't like the safety precautions that carnivals have to begin with. I think the idea of a traveling carnival where stuff just kind of like exists on the back of a truck and they haul it around and disassemble and reassemble it every single time they go to somewhere new, like, that shit's sketchy. Like, most of the time when I mean, I have no evidence supporting this. I'm just making a fucking blind assumption. But I feel like most of the time when amusement park rides kill people, it's carnivals. Whether that's true, I don't know. I feel, though, like most injuries come from, like, a rusty fucking roller coaster that got put together in half a day in rainy weather that was missing 45 rivets on a structurally, you know, fucking needed part where it was just like, hey, this was going too fast and the entire thing collapsed and they fell to their death.
When the thousands celebrating beneath pulsing lights and music. But in a sudden, tragic turn, the man's night of festivity shifted into pure trauma. The man joined the crowd in an energetic dance, and in the midst of the excitement, he wanted to take a break and light a cigarette. In his attempt, the flame from his lighter caught the edge of his costume's hood, and in an instant, his entire outfit ignited. Due to its material, the costume was extremely easy to burn, but difficult to put out and take off. The man would try ripping the costume off
Oh my god, he had like a potato sack over his head and fucking burned to death.
of his body, but its contents had already begun melting into his skin. As for the crowd around him, they at first thought it was a prank or some sort of fire stunt woven into the Halloween event.
A prank? A prank? What? Are these people stupid? You're at a Halloween carnival, some guy gets lit on fire and is like frantically trying. Wouldn't you like, I would like push him to the ground and start hitting him to try and like put it out, you know? Or if I had like say I had a cape or something, like fucking smother the flame, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, oh wait, somebody record this for TikTok. Oh, how cool. We're not gonna check whether or not this is real.
It should be noted that most of
It's a part of the haunted house, but they weren't it was just at a Halloween carnival.
them were heavily intoxicated.
Some dude oh, they were drunk. Still, I'm drunk at a carnival, some guy's on fire.
So their rationality and judgment skills were extremely impaired at the time. As the blaze spread violently, it swallowed him whole like a torch. His figure staggered into the mass of dancers engulfed in fire with his...
Just piss on him? I don't think I'd be able to fucking pee, man. If I'm trying to save some dude, like, I mean, talk about pee shy, bro. What are you saying? Oh no, just pee on him.
His arms flailing in a desperate panic. People continued cheering.
That's also not putting out a fire. Like, you're probably gonna get in mad if you were trying to like put out a guy that his entire body was on fire and you just started peeing on him. Like, that is not saving a man's life. That is, you're maybe putting out like 1/10 of the fire.
People continued cheering. Individuals were so impressed by the stunt that they had begun to record the screaming victim. Only when the man screamed.
Okay, that's insane. He was fully on fire and they recorded him dying.
Screams got louder than the music at the carnival, did a few sober witnesses realize what was going on. They rushed.
I don't think dude, that's not even drunk. That's like blackout drunk. I think even if I had like 10 drinks and I saw a guy on fire, I might be like, oh, that's a joke. Like, that's a stuntman covered in like flame, like safe jelly or whatever they wear. But fucking... to be like, oh yeah, let me record this on TikTok.
To help and tried to rip off the burning pants and jacket that were now clinging to his skin.
Wow.
People took water bottles from their backpacks and emptied it onto the blaze, while others in the crowd continued chanting, snapping pictures, and dancing to what they perceived as a stunt. When the flames finally calmed, he was barely recognizable. Despite being rushed to the hospital, the man ultimately passed away from his wounds.
Crowd cheered at Caliph man engulfed by burning Halloween costume. Holy fuck. Video of the incident posted on YouTube shows a man engulfed in flames in the middle of a crowd where people danced to electronic music at a carnival Thursday night in West Hollywood. Some bystanders could be heard cheering. I mean, do you think they feel bad after that? You're like, you see the ambulance finally show up and you're like, wait, that wasn't a joke.
A 23-year-old mother in Hong Kong would continue navigating her life in an environment tainted by hardship. She was an orphan as a child, and as she grew up, she became addicted to abusing substances and other things. She worked at a nightclub in one of Hong Kong's red light districts, Tsim Sha Tsui, where a 34-year-old mob boss frequently visited her for services. The gangster was known to be extremely dangerous as he had a horrible temper and would often do cruel and unusual things to people who wronged him. One day, after the two met with each other, the mobster would accidentally forget his wallet at the venue. Upon seeing that it contained 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, the woman would secretly steal it to help
500 USD.
her own financial situation for herself and her son.
Oh gosh, stealing from a mob boss.
The mob boss found out, and out of fear of what he'd do to her, she immediately returned the money back to him. However, he wasn't satisfied. He demanded that she pay an additional $10,000 back to him as an interest fee for her thievery. Obviously, she couldn't meet those requests. On a calm night, as
I'm doing that shit, bro. What the fuck? I'd be like taking out a bank loan, bro, just so you don't die. I was watching this movie the other day, literally yesterday, called, what was the name of the movie? I think it was Adulthood. Yeah, spoiler alert. It's this movie called Adulthood. And they end up in the film at one point being asked for like $10,000. And they're like, I don't have that money. I'm like, bro, I'd take out a fucking bank loan. Like, what? And she starts like scrounging to her investments. And she's like, maybe I'll have enough. I have to go through everything. I'm like, bro, I'm like, most banks would probably loan bad credit. Dude, if you got a secured, I think even if you have bad credit, if you were trying to like dual sign on a fucking bank loan for $10,000, you could make, I think if you had a week, I think the average adult could get $10,000 in a week. If you're not like homeless, like even if you're like dead broke, I think you would put yourself in crippling debt. Like you would go out there and take out a loan that you can't pay back. But that's a problem for another day. In the movie, they're like, oh, fuck, man, I don't have the money. They're going to kill us. I'm like, you could fucking deal with that shit later. Like, what? I'd go rob a bank. What the fuck? I'd be like, I'm going to fucking find it. I'm going to get the $10,000. I'm like, that's a lot of money. But I'm like, that's not, you got a week? Like, bro, I feel like I fucking pawn everything I have. Fucking 10 grand, fucking pull out a bank loan. Maybe give them like half and be like, yo, give me another week.
the woman made her way into her apartment after her shift, she'd hear knocks at her door.
Okay, not rob a bank. Not rob a bank. You know what I mean, though. Like I'm saying, Chad, if you had to scrounge up $10K in a week, I feel like first thing is, do you have $10,000? If no, I'd probably get a bank loan. Just lie what it's for. Be like, fucking a school loan. Fucking, or not, no, because then they're going to be like, go to a student loan. I feel like you could lie to a bank, though, and get a $10,000 loan in a week. Even if you had bad credit. Because most loans are big. How much credit do you think you need to get a 10K loan? Bro, I feel like you would need like a 500. Yeah. You can get a 10,000 loan averagely with a low credit score, like a 580, but you're going to have bad interest rates. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think you could have like a 400 credit score, but like, bro, if you have a 500 credit score, bro, you could still probably get you could get like a 10K loan. Unless you literally just had like multiple maxed out credit cards. What the fuck is credit score? The funny number that you don't learn about until you're an adult that determines whether or not you're trustworthy to loan money to. Your parents have a funny number attached to them between like 400 and 850. And depending on how high the number is, that's how much the bank is willing to give them. And how trustworthy they are to be loaned. The higher the better, yes. The higher your credit score, the better your credit score is. And you need a credit score. You need a good credit score to get like a loan for like a mortgage for a house, or like if you're taking out a loan for a car, or if you're financing things, not even just loans. Like it's whether or not you're trustworthy in the sense that like, hey, this is how good you pay people back. That's basically what a credit score is in like dumbed down terms, is like, you are good at taking money out and paying it back on time, if not before when it needs to be paid back. You pay the interest, you pay everything off. They could give you money, make money on you, no problem. If your credit score's low, they don't want to give you money because there's a chance that you just default on the money, or like you go bankrupt, you don't pay them.
It would be 3 members of the Triad gang and a young girl who claimed that they wanted to settle the dispute with a more reasonable fee. Also, side note, the young girl seen...
How do we get from Halloween deaths to this? I don't know. I think we were talking about this woman that stole $500 from this mob boss, and then how she needed to pay him back and she was fucked. But I'm like, bro, you could come up with that money.
It would be 3 members of the Triad gang and a young girl who claimed that they wanted to settle the dispute with a more reasonable fee. Also, side note, the young girl seen here is actually the mob boss's girlfriend. Remember how I said he's 34? Well, she's 20 years younger than that. Yeah. Anyways, as soon as the woman opened up the door, they ripped her out of her apartment and drove her to a rundown flat on Granville Road in Kowloon. It was there that her final horrific month of torture began. Her captors beat her...
A month?
with pipes, suspended her in the air with wires, burned her.
Okay, doing this over $500 is fucking wild. Like, $500 is a lot of money, but to torture somebody to death over $500,000 is absurd.
With wax and plastic and rubbed peppery spices into her wounds. Each day blurred into the next. It was a cycle of torment designed
And they didn't let her go. They weren't like, okay, this is enough.
not only to punish her, but to strip away at her humanity.
She was forced to smile and pretend that she enjoyed it.
Neighbors heard nothing beyond the walls, but within them, suffering was routine. After nearly a month of agony, her body could no longer endure the mistreatment, and she would pass away from the monstrous acts of the gang. Upon realization, the mob boss had his men disposing of her remains in bags and pieces to clear themselves of any evidence. However, in a grotesque and cruel twist, the boss would have her skull boiled clean, polished and preserved, and then stitched into his girlfriend's Hello Kitty plush.
What? Like, they made it a part of the Bro, that, like, if I'm not believing in ghosts, but, like, that shit's haunted. You torture a woman to death, fucking cut her head off, boil her fucking skull, and then, like, stitch it into a fucking doll. Oh my god.
Actually, I don't really feel comfortable considering her his girlfriend. I mean, the man's quite literally old enough to be her father.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, night after night, the young girl would be faced with the doll as she lived with the mob boss, and he kept it in the flat they were living in. She wouldn't be able to escape the sight of the toy, and as time went on, it began haunting her. She'd start seeing hallucinations and apparitions of the woman's ghost. The spirit would follow her every day, weeping dreadfully. It'd stand by the corner of her bed, staring at her every night, and if the girl ever fell asleep, it'd show up in her dreams as well, and turn them into...
My god, bro. Okay, see, I don't believe in ghosts, and I will say, like, I feel like part of this is probably, like, heavy trauma for this woman, but holy shit, dude, like if ghosts are real, that I would not be surprised if that was, like, a fucking ghost. You torture a woman, cut her fucking head off, and stuff it into a Hello Kitty doll, yeah, that thing's haunting you.
In her words, she said that it kept haunting her while demanding justice.
Wow.
It got so bad that the girl developed insomnia, and for weeks, she'd barely eat or sleep. Eventually, she broke. She ran to a nearby department, and reports from the Kowloon police station say that she turned up at the building shaking violently. As mentioned from witnesses, rather than her saying that she has a crime she needs to confess, the first words that left her mouth were something around the lines of, "I keep seeing her. I can't sleep. Please, she won't stop crying. She won't leave me alone." She was literally traumatized. The girl told police absolutely everything they needed to know, and officials set out to arrest everyone.
What's insane, too, is that girl might end up just getting killed, though, by the like, she would have to go to, like, witness protection, because now the mob's going to be after her. Like, if you fucking rat on her, if you rat on that guy.
The three men. Actually, they don't really deserve to be called that. The three criminals were all sentenced to life in prison with a 20-year minimum before parole. The young girl was placed in protective custody, and after the trial, it was noted that she was seeing the ghost less. However, she'd still go on to experience nightmares and auditory hallucinations of the
Oh yeah, dude, she's probably gonna have to go to fucking therapy and psychiatric help for the rest of her fucking life, dude.
woman weeping. The last thing that was heard of her before she was relocated with an identity change was that she was being given psychological treatment and correctional therapy. These aren't just horror stories, they're real events, and they're all so wrong, in so many ways. Halloween is meant to be scary in a fun manner, not in a cruel and dangerous one. To ensure that happens, make sure to group up, stay close to your friends, drink responsibly, and always check your candy twice. Take care of yourself and keep your loved ones safe. Without further ado, have a happy...
Check your candy twice, but it's also, dude, like, going out and drinking, you gotta be careful, too. Because Halloween is really a sketchy holiday to go bar hopping. I mean, it's, like, fun, but, like, if you're going to bars on Halloween, people are wearing masks in different outfits that hide themselves. So a lot of the time, they're going to feel more comfortable spiking drinks. They're going to feel more comfortable trying to give you Rufinol because they could just hide behind their Spider-Man mask or whatever the fuck they're wearing, and you have no idea who they are, right? And then it's also, like, hard to identify if there ever is anything there, so people are a little weird, a little more weird than normal. I love that video, though. That was a fun video. Not fun, interesting. Can't imagine being so extremely drunk in a public place that a man on fire screaming an act is seen as an act or a stunt. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that might have been a music festival where people are on, like, drugs, not just drinking. I feel like they weren't just drunk. Because you're not just drunk and you see a guy on fire and go, that's a stunt. Anyways, I gotta piss real quick, then we're gonna hop into the next video.